Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ezekiel, our trusty boat for our trip down the river of life. My name is Captain Wendy. Each day we're stopping at various ports along the river to learn about water and how God works through water. We'll also be meeting some great leaders around the world and learning how ELCA World Hunger is supporting their work to help their neighbors. Before we begin, I'd like to share a prayer. God, you formed this world from the waters of creation, and you give us everything we need. Help us today to see how you provide for all of us and how you make us your hands in helping others. Amen. I think I see today's port city coming into view. Time to welcome Pilot Sage back to guide us in.
Hi everyone, good to be back on board with you. Before we pull into today's destination, who can tell me about yesterday's port? That's right! Yesterday we visited the headwaters themselves, the waters of creation. We also met some of our neighbors in Cambodia and learned about what work they're doing in growing fresh foods in their schools.
There was a lot of water at creation, but the port we're pulling into today looks very dry.
It is dry. Today we're going to visit Moses and the Israelites in the desert.
The desert? But this is a VBS about water. How are we going to learn about water in the desert?
Well, do things live in the desert?
Of course things live in the desert. There are lizards, cacti, people. Deserts are full of life.
If there's life, then there's water. Remember, the theme of this week, everything will live where the river goes. There is life in the desert, so there is water in the desert.
Okay, sure. But there's not much water in the desert. Not enough to have a boat festival or a river that flows backwards, as in Cambodia.
You're right. There isn't much water in the desert. That makes the water that is there really important. In today's small group, we're going to learn about how God gave water to the Israelites out of a rock.
Water from a rock? That's amazing.
It is. And we're going to El Salvador to see a project ELCA World Hunger supports that's working to restore a river basin. Even places that have lots of rain can have a hard time if the water is dirty or unsafe. Deserts aren't the only place that may not have enough water to drink.
I hadn't thought about that. And things that live in deserts are used to not having much water. I bet it's hard for places that are used to water if they don't have clean water.
It can be, but we're going to learn today is how God always finds new ways to provide for God's people. And one of the ways God helps people is through us. There are all sorts of things we can do to bring water to thirsty places.
Wow. Thanks, Pilot Sage. I'm excited to see what today's port has in store.
Have a great time exploring the desert today.